welcome. Wake Up continues on WIDU, the We Do Radio Network. We're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. It's time now for more of Wake Up. We present to you today's segment of Heartbeat Radio Talk Show. We are pleased to say that yes, we do. We have full, perfect attendance. Each gent is here. They're ready to give us today's show. Let us say a hearty hello to the Heartbeat team, the Heartbeat family. Bishop J.L. Godbolt, Senior Pastor Ron Godbolt, Minister Coach Tony Billingsley. They make up Heartbeat. Good morning, family. Hope you're well. We're ready for you. We're ready for Heartbeat Radio Talk Show in the midst of WIDU's Wake Up. Take it away.
I feel like some of those gospel singers, James Fortune. Yeah, we're here. We're live. We're ready to do it. Yes, it's a Friday. I hope you're having a great Friday. But if you're not, I got to tell you something. You got to dance like there's nobody watching, love like you've never been hurt, sing like there's nobody listening, and live like there's heaven on earth. Good morning, world. I'm Dr. J.L. Godbolt.
I'm Dr. Ron Godbolt.
And I'm Tony Billingsley.
And he's out last week, but he's back this week. All right, this is Heartbeat Flight 2026 on Wake Up, where we still believe that the truth is the truth, even if no one believes it, and a lie is still a lie, even if everyone believes it. It's a great day in the village of Lafayette. Let me say hello to all of our Facebook, YouTube friends who are following us every chance you get. We're grateful for it. And those who are down in the Laurinburg area, WEWO 1460 AM and 92.5 FM, thank you for joining us. Our friends in Lumberton, North Carolina, WAGR 1340 AM and 97.1 FM. We appreciate you. The friends in Red Springs, I won't say metropolitan today. Oh, I just did, didn't I? WIDU 1160 AM and 98.5 FM. And the flagship in Fayetteville, North Carolina, WIDU, the one we got started with, 1600 AM. I'll talk about this sometime. They put the gospel station on the far end way back then because they did the other good stuff they said on the other end, but that's okay. We brought it forward, 1600. And now we got 99.7 FM in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Thank you for following us today. If you're celebrating a birthday, another year around the sun, happy birthday to you. If you got an anniversary that you're celebrating, give us a call. We love to hear about it. We had a great opportunity. Missed it last week when we should have announced that Dr. Teresa McAllister and Pastor Al McAllister that very day, last Friday,
they did.
Celebrated 50 years of marriage.
Yeah,
and, boy, and you all need to see it. I don't know if they put it on Facebook or not, but he put a word on her, boy,
and a song.
I said, okay, all right, a little sparks of fire going on here. Good deal. Listen, let's talk about Greek Share. What you got, Doc?
Greek Share is back in operation. They're starting a new session. It's every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 at One Church Covenant Fellowship, 918 Person Street here in the city of Fayetteville. You can call the church for more information at 910-323-8889, extension 22. And you can get more information. There's an online session that meets on Saturday morning from 9 till 10:30. Yes, 9 to 10:30. So if you're interested in that, I hope you read up on it. Go to the website. It's got good information. You know what it's all about, and it's helped a lot of people.
It has, and we're getting more comments from people who are getting involved, even other churches who are starting their own. And of course, the online one is a great support for those who can't make it through a Wednesday midday. So do it, Grief Share. Also, we want you to, if you're living alone, don't be lonely. Find a way to become productive. Do something to help others and watch the gratitude grow in you, okay? 3 topics today. Did you really think that slavery was done away with? Has it been disguised in another form, another system? And we're going to talk about sleep. deprivation. How much is sleep deprivation, Tammy, costing us? I know you're one of those 2 jobs for full-time people. Okay, but anyway, sleep deprivation, we're going to talk about what it's costing us. And also, Navy had plans to name their newest aircraft carrier after a black man, but there may be a change. Stay tuned. We'll talk about that, as well as a Did You Know and a health tip. Prison system. That's the word. There's a prison system.
Yeah.
But was it slavery? So let's look at that. Let's get started. 13th Amendment was in the United States Constitution known as the amendment to abolish slavery. But they put a word in there that kind of gives a loophole for those that could deal with people who were out not working. It was called duly convicted. Okay, that's the word. And it was ratified in 1865. Now, what we found out is back during those times, if a black man was sitting around loitering, just sitting around, couldn't get a job, you could be put in jail for call it loitering. Yet didn't have right proof of ID, they could put you in jail. So they're in these black codes that were out there. So we looking at the loopholes, there's a possibility. Until about World War II, we saw that these convicted leasing people were something that we had to pay attention to. So let's talk about it, gents. What you got?
You know, when you look at this, you never thought about it, but the way they have to work, and then the punishment, they said if they don't work, they lose the visitation, they get confinement, and
it's called the hole.
Yeah, the hole. Yeah. So you know, and then the money that they get compensated like up to 52 cents an hour. You know, it is, when you look at it that way, almost like another form of slavery. And the sad part about this is, on another line that I'm concerned about, because I worked in prison for years. I was a volunteer for years, volunteer of the year twice. And a lot of those guys end up there now are mental health issues. Mm-hmm. And people in prison say they don't belong here. Mm-hmm. And they get hurt because they're dealing with dangerous people, because they're not, you know, and in America for the last, we know at least the last 25, 30 years, they've taken out so much money from mental health and not supporting that program like it's supposed to. That's why the prisons are getting bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. So what you got, Coach?
Well, you mentioned that because of a perceived loophole, that we still have something that really resembles slavery. This was not a loophole. This was contrived and came about because the end of slavery. We have to go back historically and understand that the Emancipation Proclamation, which was really an executive order, did not free all of the slaves.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then even when they were freed, they were not considered citizens. So this 13th Amendment started to get some balance in the nation, and what it was brought about, the what we call the loophole in it, which indicated that except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, that's how people can be imprisoned and required to work against their will. This was to protect the Southern economy. We have to realize that America at that time still, agriculture was still the backbone of the economy. We hadn't really gone into the industrial age. And so in order to protect the Southern landowners and the plantation owners, this 13th Amendment was written in this manner.
When you look at that during that very time, how it was situated, so that, and we're going to look at some more details with the time going as it is, how many people were being used to get their monies or get the jobs accomplished. And we say the South lost, but they didn't. President Abraham Lincoln had to pay so many millions of dollars back into the South to make sure that the cotton that the uniforms were made from and that the food that they were eating in the North was still being produced. So we have to pay attention to that side of it as well. And even currently, California came up with one of their prison firefighters program with incarcerated people who learned to fight fires, but they only gave them like $1.45 a day for fighting some of the most dangerous fires. And we're talking about forest fires out. That's a turn. If a wind shift on you, if you don't know what you're doing out there, you won't be coming back home or even to a prison or anything else. But there were these kind of things set up that people were making money from it. I was looking at something. I'm having this conversation with some people. Loretta Williams has been one of our guests. She and Beverly Oaks have been my guests on Wednesday. Wow. And as we were talking about it, we had a conversation with her husband who was incarcerated. We were saying to him, he was saying with us, people don't get it when you get demoralized, you get brought down in anything that you do. It's like people are trying to use you. And she mentioned to me several things. I said, definitely coming back on the show. But here's something that when you think about the programs that should be put in place for these to make sure that they're taken care of, it's called Assessing Inmate Support Services. When I started listening to him and what she was saying to me, it's just something to check the boxes. It's really not trying to help them or to rehabilitate. Now, rehabilitate is the key word here. If you're gonna rehabilitate me, and I got a broken arm, and I go to the doctor and you operate on me, you then put me in physical therapy so that my arm operates as normal as possible.
Return you to the state you had before you had your arm
Exactly.
injured.
So rehabilitation to inmates is nowhere near that. There are guys who get out, and when they get home, or get to a place, and they say, why don't you turn the light out? And he said, well, I never thought I could, because they never even knew how to turn the light out. They didn't control lights. It's simple things that we find that rehabilitation. The other thing was, I'm going to pull this up where you all talk, is how many companies were using these young men and women to produce their products, cook, sew, clean, whatever, and never paid them any more than 15, 20 cents an hour with these products made in America.
Yeah. That was the original purpose of the loophole, so to speak, in the 13th Amendment, because now you have all these freed slaves, and the landowner has no labor. So the 13th Amendment gave them the opportunity, and this is how we saw the rise of Jim Crow laws, and then these penal codes that came into effect during Reconstruction, which allowed them to arrest people for menial things like laundering, not having proof of employment, all kinds of different things. And then once they arrested them, they sold them out as labor to private entities. Actually, they sold them as labor back to the people who they were freed from. Free labor.
Yeah, they go back. Yeah, so now you really got to pay the price.
And we've seen that carry over to the criminal, actually, unfortunately, to the criminal justice system, where on the average, and I looked this up, the average incarcerated inmate in America makes between 13 cents and 52 cents.
Yeah, 50
It's
cents.
52 or 58 cents.
Yeah.
And then add to
an hour.
that, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi don't give them anything.
Right.
Okay. Now, and that 52 cents or 58 cents, when they take out all the other things that they want to charge them for, when they get finished, you may clear about 12 cents per hour if you're making the high side of 58 cents.
Right.
Okay. But I'm looking at Pillsbury, Campbell Soup. There are so many others that were on that list that were using this talent of these men and women, working labor, if you will, so that to make sure that they could get what they wanted. And when those folk that worked on these jobs for them got out of prison, went to the company and asked them, would you hire me? None of those prisoners were hired by the people they could work for in prison.
I listened to a commentary, actually program on NPR this morning, and it indicated that many of these prisons would not be able to operate without prison labor. As an example, feeding a prison unit with 3,000 people. Who provides the labor for the kitchen?
Yeah, hello.
Are the inmates? They don't cater in the food, so they do all the dishwashing, all the cooking, under the guise of, as you indicated, rehabilitation. Or we're going to give them a skill that they can use when they get out.
Wow. And then you think about that, all the money they save having them work for this free money, and some states not paying anything. That's why you have a problem wondering where's all the money going.
Then
Follow the money.
Yeah.
then they open a, what do you call it, commissary with items
Oh, yeah.
in the commissary that the prisoners normally wouldn't be able to get, except that it be in a commissary. And the price of those items are probably 3 to 4 times more than they would be if they bought them outside of the prison.
Yeah.
Originally in North Carolina, I found this out. Every county, we have 100 of them, every county had a prison originally. Now it's dropped down significantly now for that, for the reason originally to make sure that there was free labor for whatever area we needed in this state.
And that's something.
So when you start paying attention to those things, and again, we're going to use these 3/5 quote unquote human beings as laborers, and we're going to incarcerate them, make them work, pull the potatoes out the ground, shuck the corn, whatever, and we're going to send that work and use part of that to feed them, but we're going to make sure that Campbell Soup, we're going to make sure that all these other companies get what they need at cheap labor. If they're really working as employees, don't they deserve some kind of some kind of rights and labor
And
rights?
labor rights.
Yeah, don't they deserve something?
Absolutely. And I go back to what Dr. Ron said. What happens to the extra money?
Yeah.
As an example, and I'm going to research this further, that some state departments of motor vehicle are actually utilizing inmates for call inserts. They're you call into the DMV and you're speaking to an inmate in a facility.
Yeah.
I found out the hard way that the state had contracted individuals who were incarcerated to make eyeglasses for private companies.
Oh yes.
You go to the optometrist, get your eyes examined, and then you get your glasses.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back in 3 days or 4 days.
Yeah.
It goes off to a prison, and there is an inmate making those glasses.
Yeah.
Right here in the state of North Carolina.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. You if they wanted to be fair about the thing, you would pay them at least minimum wage,
At least
Yeah.
minimum wage.
and then take out what meals would cost and what housing costs. Nobody pays our housing and our meals if we're working, but that's about fair. That would be the fair way. But
Or set up a trust fund so that once they are released from incarceration, they have
something to get
something
started.
to get started with.
Well, that's part of this problem. When I was talking with Loretta and Beverly, they don't get a chance to get any of that money. It's not given to them at all. There's nothing set up for them to save. If you don't do it outside for them, it's not going to happen. So the chances of recidivism to return, this revolving door, is always going to be there, because sometimes they say, look, at least I had 3 hots in a cot, and that sort of thing. So you don't want that to become the issue with people that we're looking at now
Yeah.
who are going to be there for
Yeah.
sometime a long time,
And
not
in
for crimes.
instances where inmates or prisoners are required to make restitutions to victims of crime.
Yeah.
And I got a personal example. I had a cell phone stolen from me at a workout facility, and they found the perpetrator, and they, since then they said they had to make restitution to me for the phone. I've never received any restitution.
Same thing for me. It's involved yourself when I was 17 years old. I never got it. I mean, but it's like one of those kind of things where the system is getting so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And those that would want to do right in the judicial system or all those places, it's almost an overrun on them. I wish we could spend more time on it, but guess what? It's already halfway through the time today. We got to move on. So let's do a Did You Know and a health tip, and then we'll get to the other two areas that we're going to try our best to talk about as well. And we're not finished. I promise you, we'll be back on more of this. Let me start off so you guys can make sure you say it right. English, correct English, grammar says you need to know when to say did you know or do you know. All right, here we go. Did you know is used when you are asking someone if they know a fact and you already know the information. Did you know? For instance, did you know that I used to be a marathon runner? Or did you know that my sister is married to so-and-so? I already know the information, but you don't. You say, do you know, when you don't know the information and you're trying to find it. Do you know how to replace a bulb on the car? Do you know how much a trip to Cancun costs? So now, guys, if you already know the answer, you're supposed to say, do you know?
Do you know?
Or did you know? I'm sorry, did you know? If you already know the answer, you say, do you know? Did you know if you already know the answer? And do you know if you don't know the answer?
Did you know I didn't know all of that?
This is definitely did you know? Because I didn't know this. Giraffes communicate with one another by humming.
Do what?
By humming. Giraffes.
Hum.
They hum to each other. That's how they communicate.
I did not know that, no.
Wow.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
I definitely did not know that.
Okay.
Well, this is definitely a did you know, because I sure didn't know this. We say that storms, just pop up and arise, but there's a storm, and it's given a name, a thunderstorm called Hector, and it arrives every day over the Tiwi Islands, which is off the northern coast of Australia, at 3 p.m. from the months of September through March. And
Good
it is
God.
huge. It is at least 12 miles high, and it shows up every day at 3 p.m., September through March.
Good.
Hector.
Good God.
Okay. Now that's a did you know? Well, I tell you what. I know now not to go. Where not to
That's
go.
the place I want to visit.
Don't go to the Tiwi Islands.
Definitely
Don't.
not September to March.
Yeah, stay away on those 6 months. Okay, let's do a health tip, James. What you got there?
Did you know? Well, this is a health tip.
Okay.
And a did you know in a way. Leftover pasta is better for you because it contains resistant starch that actually lowers your blood sugar or improves gut health. So eating foods like leftover pasta or leftover rice could actually be better for your system.
No, really? Okay. I hear you. What you got, Coach? Doctor?
Help tip. Post reminders, incentives, or inspiration for yourself to help support your goal.
Okay.
Put them where you can see them. They help support your goal.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
I'll keep that one in mind.
Okay, let me remind you that you could be eating foods that are not really foods. When you say olive oil, please remember it takes about 12 years for real olive oil to become what it should be. But 60 to 90% of olive oils on shelves are not really pure olive oil. Also, Parmesan cheese. Most of them contain wood pulp, which is cellulose. Cellulose is made from wood pulp. So check out your ingredients. It's derived from wood. It's an anti-caking agent that they put into, quote unquote, some of the cheeses. but it's supposed to be a Parmesan cheese. White chocolate lovers, you know, you're gonna hate me now for real, but let's just deal with it. The definition of white chocolate means that it has cocoa, butter, sugar, and milk. That's it. They will change it and they call it the white confectionery or confectionery coating, and that allows them to add cheaper vegetable fats for cocoa butter, and they create this white confectionery. It's not really chocolate. Honey, please make sure that if it's real honey, that's the ingredients. The only thing back there is honey. Don't buy it cheap, because you can get corn syrup, rice syrup, or just sweeteners, and they call it honey.
Wow.
Some honeys contain absolutely no honey, okay? Maple syrup, same way. Be careful, because most of them have high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, and caramel coloring to make you think that it's real maple syrup. But you know, some of those with that log cabin on the front and maple leaf. I got lots of them. For vanilla extract, please check it out. Some of them are not pure at all. Only thing that should be in vanilla extract is vanilla beans, alcohol, and water. Okay, that's the word. Balsamic vinegar takes 12 years to build, to develop, and a small bottle costs about $100. So these commercial companies saying that they got quote unquote vinegar, balsamic vinegar, they don't really have it. So be careful with that. They usually have something that has a wine vinegar with a caramel color and thickener inside of it, and a bit of grape juice in it.
Wow.
To make you think that you're drinking balsamic.
You know, when you mentioned the olive oil, I thought about I was in Greece, and when you sit down to your meal, they give you a small dish of olive oil, and you dip your bread in there.
Yes.
And it's so delicious, you know, rather than butter. And I've never tasted anything like that in America.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What's out there. Okay, guys, we got a few minutes to do two major topics. The first one we're going to jump on here is, what is the economic cost to sleep deprivation in the U.S.? Okay, when I saw these numbers and how much difference it make when a person has 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night versus less than 6 hours, I could not believe the amount of money that's lost in the American, and this is what we think we know.
That's what we think we know.
Yeah, and it could be higher, but it blew my mind. Let's talk about it. Gents, what you got, Coach?
Well, given a figure, they estimate that insufficient sleep costs the U.S. economy approximately $411 billion every year in lost input. As you say, if we're not getting the amount of sleep we need, it affects absenteeism and your ability to perform at an optimum level when you're on the job. And sometimes people stay out because of illnesses that have been caused by chronic insufficient sleep.
So our GDP, that's about 2.2% of our GDP that can shift one way or the other if we are either getting sleep or not getting proper sleep. That's big.
And why do we want to mess with the daylight, the savings time versus?
Yeah, well, we keep flipping
back and forth.
Yeah, and we already know that people are deprived of sleep. Unless you're really trying to, well, I won't go there, I'll leave that alone. We'll talk about that another time. Okay, but so direct healthcare costs, we're talking about yearly, $94.9 billion, with a B, $1 billion a year.
How much?
Direct, $94.9 billion a year, almost $95 billion a year in health costs because of sleep disorders. Okay, so there's a lot of things that when we are talking with people on our different shows and we're asking them about anxiety, pressure, COVID, and we're talking about marriages at home and safety, all these things are they're trying to work on their jobs with all these things happening, not sleeping properly, and then we see this kind of cost to it as well.
Yeah, as former educators, you and I have seen the effects of children
Yeah.
coming to school without the proper amount of rest.
Yeah.
And we've gotten this thing in our minds and our system where we need to start school at 7:30 in the morning. Well, Johnny hadn't been to sleep all night, and if he did, he didn't rest well. And now you're trying to teach him. I know there was one school district, I want to say in the state of Illinois or California, that went to a 9 o'clock start time for students, and they found that it did help improve student performance.
I can believe that.
I can believe that too.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I know. I love our prayer time. We get up early in the morning and pray 5:30 and all. But when I can get back in the bed and get that little bit extra sleep there, I go all day fine.
Yeah.
But if I don't,
Yeah.
if I just keep going, by the afternoon it's like somebody laid the baby down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, the other issue with this lack of sleep, it weakens the immune system. And what happens then, you get infections, you get sick, and we know what happens in workplaces. People come to work sick, and they make other people sick, and therefore, you know, you're not getting your top work from your employees because this immune system been compromised.
Yeah, and now we've produced a society with an economy and other things that are 24 hours, 24/7.
Yep.
Never stops. As an example, media, television. When I was a child, there was a sign on
Yes, sir.
and a sign off.
That's right.
You had that little, I forget what you call it anyway, that little thing that you sit there and stare at, waiting for Captain Kangaroo to come on
Yeah.
in the mornings. And then 10:30 at night or 11 o'clock at night, they signed off with the national anthem.
Yes, sir. I remember that. It used to be 10 o'clock, and after it goes off, everything would just snow.
So
was
now
yeah.
we're 24/7.
It's a
You
whole-
know, everything in a lot of places. Some places are closing down now because of safety, public safety, though.
Yeah.
But things are open all the time.
Yeah.
I was looking at this news about mortality risk. People who sleep less than 6 hours a day versus those who sleep 7 to 9 hours a day, you increase your mortality risk 13%. I mean, by not getting the proper rest, you are at a higher risk of death, dying early or dying by some accident as well, I'm sure. It's amazing. Then there was a different, I'm looking for it, I can't find it. I may have read it someplace else, about if people got to sleep, how much money it would shift from the loss to the gain. I was trying to find that, there it is. Increased nightly sleep from less than 6 hours to 6 to 7 hours could add an additional $226.4 billion
Oh, my.
annually. Let me say that one more time.
Good God.
If you can get your people to go to bed and sleep 6 to 7 hours a night, and they start working around the nation, we're talking about $226.4 billion annually is an increase
Wow.
to the success of what we're trying to do as a nation. That's a big move on a GDP. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Okay, I'm not talking millions. I said billions. That's
That's real money.
money.
That's real
okay,
money.
Okay. So paying attention to those things is key to us.
Yeah, we know that the average citizen or most Americans who work, they work an average about 9.5 hours each day. Well,
Okay.
because of inefficiency, because of lack of sleep, that productivity can go down as low as 2 hours to 4 hours of actual productivity out of a 9-hour day.
See, this is why we might need to talk next week about the AI robots and some of the things that's coming up, because if you can get these robots to do what people are not able to do and don't have to pay them any benefits,
Yeah.
et cetera, we might see a problem coming here.
Not only that.
Yeah.
Boy, what about what do we do with all of the free time we have now. If the robot is doing the majority of the work, and the human now has all this free time, what are they doing in this free time that they now have?
Well, I can tell you what the Bible says, and,
Yes,
and the
please
Lord
tell us,
said,
sir.
He says in Genesis,
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Okay, work, and He said, meet Him in the cool of the day. So if we're not working, as my my 8th grade teacher told me, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
That's right.
If we are not working, it's going to be a bad day around here. Plus, if you think about anything that we can deal with on the AI level, it's going to take a lot of people coming to the table and realizing, okay, these things have got to have boundaries. And I think we talked about this on one of the shows about the problem is that they thought they had this particular AI product under a certain boundary, it locked in, and that it could not go out any further. And it was asked this question, how would you solve this problem? It broke out of the controlled area, went through the system, found that information way off in some other place, and brought it back and solved the problem when they thought they had it contained. Okay, now, you and I know, young people today already we got a real issue with these contraption called phones. And they're not talking to each other now. They're sitting at the table texting each other. Can you imagine if you had AI talking to you all the time rather than you conversing with a human being?
Yeah.
Something you lose your sense of communication,
Yeah.
community, accountability. All these things are lost because now you can just push a button and lock everybody out.
Yeah, and in that particular incident, that not only did that AI program, once they realized they needed to shut it down, and they went in to try to shut it down, it started notifying other AI terminals. This is what I was doing and how I was doing it, as they were shutting it down.
Wow.
You Bible scholars help me out. I think Scripture helps us understand that the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah came about because of fullness of bread and idleness of time.
Idleness.
Pride, fullness of
Pride.
bread, and abundance of idleness. And it's in Ezekiel, I think it's chapter 37, but around there, that he said, "Behold, the sin of thy sister Sodom." Yeah, when you have already you think you're better than you really are, and then you have too much time on your hand
and too much money.
and too much money. Yeah. Listen, we only have a few minutes, guys. I hope this is helping somebody because it's really it's important to us for us to recognize when we get people to come to the table and start paying attention to these things. I did hear a little bit from Bill Gates on one of the news media about his concern about what's going to happen with that AI piece. So we'll bring more information on that. If you haven't, please pay attention to it. Now we want to spend a moment these last few minutes on the Navy's report on the shifting of the naming of the next carrier after Doris Miller. Now, if you don't know who Doris Miller is, we're going to kind of bring you up to date on that. He's passed on now. He worked on a U.S. carrier at that way back during 1941 during Pearl Harbor, the USS West Virginia. He was a mess attendant, which is somebody who works in the kitchen, never trained on anything outside of that, basically. But despite of all that, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, Doris Miller, Dory is what they called him, a black man, and as we say, African American, he was able to save the lives of more than a dozen of men who had already been, that the ships were blown to bits. He jumped on an anti-aircraft gun, never trained, shot down one Japanese destroyer plane, went back and helped some more people off of those burning ships. So what we're looking at is, and if you didn't hear it, I heard it announced, I saw the actual interview when the current president made the announcement that the Navy is going to bring out a new carrier, and it will be named after Doris Miller. And then he said while he was, you need to look at he said that's a big boat. Nobody's naming anything like that after me. And somebody must have said, well, something about getting one named after you. He said, oh, well, later, we'll get one. Something like that. And then it wasn't long after that we started hearing that now we're not getting the information out, that the Navy's no longer calling it the USS Doris Miller that's coming out. So that's the laying it down there, what we're dealing with. So let's just talk about this.
You've laid it down well, Dory or Doris Miller, deserving of having a ship named after him. Aircraft carriers are the prestige of the United States Navy. It would be befitting to name one after him. When you hear the historical events that occurred when he was at Pearl Harbor, you would have thought, wow, why didn't this man receive the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions rather than the Navy Cross? Because he not only saved lives, he helped to defend the ship where he was stationed aboard, and the only jobs that he was relegated to at that time was that of a mess attendant or a cook in the Navy. And aircraft carriers are not built overnight. The one that they want to name for him is in the process of being built.
Yes.
And so they were saying, well, hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years, once it's completed,
Yeah.
they would name it after him.
I was looking at the building of it. The only place you can build that ship is in Virginia.
Newport.
Yeah, Newport, a few miles, 4 hours from us right here now. But they started building it and naming it, planning it for it in 2016.
Yeah.
Was the actual start of it. And they had planned to have it out and, what would you say, Christian by, it should have been January of this year.
Yeah.
That's what it was, January of this year. But like anything else you got behind, it's costing. There's been some controversy on that as well when you start talking about building something of that magnitude.
And it's a Ford class, what we call a Ford class carrier.
Gerald Ford, right.
Yeah, it is one of the most preeminent types of aircraft carriers in the world.
Yeah.
So to wait for another one, for him to be named after, would, as you say, since 2016.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of the individuals we see these aircraft carriers and ships named after are not around.
Yeah.
So why is a sitting president so adamant about having a vessel named for him during his lifetime?
You know, you hate to say it, but I mean, it's all about him trying to put his name on everything. They just named Palm Beach International Airport in his honor. It's going to be now called President Donald J. Trump International Airport. You know,
And we're back to the idea of the Kennedy Center. Now I'm hearing that they're proposing that the Kennedy Center be demolished, completely torn down, rather than renovated. And once it's demolished, then they'll decide whose name goes on it.
And was that because you said, if you don't put my name on it, I'm going to tear it down?
Kind of, sort of, yes.
Let me give y'all something right quick. I only got a couple of minutes, but I want to ask you, I'm going to give you the definition of witchcraft. Okay, this is proven based on Jezebel. Here's the 4 main characteristics of witchcraft is manipulation, intimidation, domination, and fear tactics. Okay, those are the 4 major. Here are some of the criteria or characteristics: the technique of humiliation, projecting, showing other people's faults, loving money, sexual immoral, no accountability, but requires everyone to be loyal to you. Pretending to be your best friend, using people for personal gain, need you to need them, vindictive, obsessive, master of treaties, dysfunctional in relationship, hyper spiritual, sows discord, fault finder, will not apologize, and will not accept apologies. Never ever wrong, and has no conscience. Does that sound like somebody we might know?
Definitely.
That's why I'm telling people, when you're trying to fight something from the eye and the hand, the physical, you're never going to win this battle. We're not going to win the battle against Iran trying to shut them down. These folk have been fighting 4,000 years. Okay, and they're not fighting with just weapons. They're fighting with spirits, ideas, religions, and you can't stop. They've been fighting since Jacob and Esau.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a lot of times what we're trying to do here, and you're dealing with someone like this current leadership, everybody around him, he knows, I bring these kind of people around me because they want what I want.
As you were going through your list, many things stood out. But you mentioned master of treaties, knowing how to align yourself with certain individuals, and then not only align yourself with them, but get them to agree to your agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's big. One of the biggest things we're seeing now. Not that this is going to help others. When Daniel saw this, when Daniel saw the 4 different beasts, the 4th one, he says, this one is not like any of the others. When you look at the other 3 beasts, they had one thing in common. They all had hearts. They didn't look alike, but they all had a heart. The 4th beast had no heart. That means no conscience. You don't care about people. You care about your agenda.
Yeah.
That's why when we're looking at the number of people that was out there in the USS Lincoln, or which one was it that was out there the longest? USS Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
And then all he could say was, they didn't stay out there long enough. Well, you can do this to other people's children. Now there's somebody out there that's got a $10 million bounty on his youngest son. Did you all hear about that? Yeah. So the Iranians had already said they'll pay somebody $10 million to take him out.
Wow.
So now I said to my wife, I said, look, I don't want nobody's son to be killed. But now when you have to live under the pressure the other parents live under because you put their children in danger.
In harm's way,
Now you need to consider, well, maybe if you had a heart.
Yeah.
If you had a heart. You got to have a heart to do that.
Yeah. A conscience.
Yeah, a conscience.
Yeah.
You know what time it is?
Oh, no.
It's time for MP 1, 2, and 3. We got to go. Here's what we're going to tell you. The only thing that even needs to triumph
is for good men to do nothing.
Bye-bye.
Oh, boy.